Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're taking your first steps in the world of money, trying to figure out how to make your savings grow, or maybe you're dreaming of starting your own business so you never have to answer to a boss again, you're going to want to get comfortable. Today, we're diving into one of Spain's biggest, most dramatic corporate soap operas in recent history. We are unpacking exactly how Banco Sabadell fought off a massive, hostile takeover bid from the banking giant BBVA. We'll be looking directly at the inner workings of Sabadell, how they were doing before the attack, how they survived the siege, and where they actually stand right now. So how exactly does a medium-sized bank survive a coordinated attack from an absolute giant? Well, to really understand this, we first need to lay down the basic rules of engagement and the weapons used in this kind of corporate battle. It's incredibly easy to get lost in all the financial jargon out there, so we're just going to focus on 3 foundational concepts you need to know to follow this drama. First up, what does it actually mean to be a shareholder? Think of it like this. Imagine you buy a tiny, minuscule portion of a local pizzeria, even if it's literally just the crust on the edge of a single slice. That portion belongs to you. The stock market works the exact same way. When you buy a share of a bank like Sabadell, you literally become an owner, a shareholder of a tiny part of that bank. If the bank does fantastically well, your slice of the pie is worth more. But as you can guess, if the business starts taking on water, the price of your slice sinks right along with it. And that brilliantly illustrates our next core concept, dividends. What are they? Simply put, dividends are the hard cash payouts a company distributes from its profits straight to its shareholders. It is the company's direct way of looking at you and saying, hey, thank you for trusting us and investing your money with us. Here is your pay. It's a real tangible reward for your trust. Finally, we get to the inciting incident of our soap opera, the hostile OPA, or takeover bid. To put it in plain English, an OPA is basically when a big fish, in this case BBVA, swims up and tells the owners of a medium fish, the shareholders of Sabadell, I will buy all of your shares or swap them for my own so I can completely take over your bank. Now, what made this specific bid hostile? It was hostile because Sabadell's board of directors didn't even want to hear about it. They said absolutely not. So BBVA bypassed the board completely and went straight to the shareholders to try and seduce them into selling. To grasp how Sabadell managed this incredible defense, we're going to look at this battle across 3 distinct phases. Phase 1, before the OPA, which we'll call the ugly duckling. Phase 2, during the OPA, or the cash defense. And Phase 3, post-OPA, the recovery. Phase 1, the recovered ugly duckling. Before the attack even began, Sabadell was, well, they weren't exactly the belle of the ball. A few years ago, burdened by severe problems with their British subsidiary, TSB, their shares were trading at absolute bargain basement prices. We're talking dipping below 50 cents a share. But here's the thing, they didn't just roll over. The bank executed a meticulous, highly detailed cleanup effort. By doing this serious fine-tuning, they started chaining together record profits. And as a direct result, their stock values started surging upwards with real force. Ironically, they made themselves an attractive target precisely because they fixed their own house. Phase 2, the desperate defense. So BBVA sees this newly profitable, fixed-up bank, and they cast their fishing line. How do you convince your shareholders not to sell out to a giant? Sabadell's primary defense strategy was making a massive, aggressive financial promise to their investors. Their message was crystal clear. Don't leave with BBVA. Stick with us, and we will literally rain dividends and aggressive share buybacks on you over the coming years. Now, during these tense months, Sabadell's share price was actually kept artificially inflated just by the pure expectation and speculation surrounding the whole takeover bid. Phase 3, the post-OPA reality. Okay, so the dust settles, the OPA fails to get the support it needs, and now Sabadell is left having to prove it can survive entirely on its own. The absolutely crucial point here is how they performed right after the battle. Despite a heavily feared post-OPA slump, Sabadell completely brushed it off. They recently proved their formidable strength by closing out the first semester with a staggering 971 million euros in pure profit. Their commercial engine was accelerating all over again. And if you're an investor, this is where it gets really interesting for your own pocketbook. Remember how the share price was artificially inflated by speculation during the OPA? Well, notice how incredibly resilient it's remained post-OPA. It is currently sitting right around €3.40. It didn't crash. It held its ground, supported not by rumors anymore, but by strong business fundamentals and their ongoing share buyback programs. Forging the financial shield. Talk is cheap in the financial world, right? To actually deliver on those bold promises of raining cash on their investors, Sabadell had to activate their machinery.
So they executed a massive, calculated transaction, selling off their British subsidiary, TSB, to Banco Santander for a whopping 3.3 billion euros.
This immense 3.3 billion euro cash injection, that was exactly the ammunition they needed. It allowed them to drop an extraordinary dividend of 50 cents per share in hard cash this past May. Combined with their aggressive share buyback programs, directly returning real wealth to the shareholder became Sabadell's ultimate, impenetrable defensive shield against BBVA.
Life without the giants.
Moving forward entirely independently, Sabadell knows it absolutely cannot just rest on its laurels. To maintain their position, they are drastically pivoting away from traditional brick-and-mortar real estate and executing a three-step survival strategy focused entirely on technology, small businesses, and sustainability. Honestly, it's just a matter of pure survival in today's market.
So let's break down what this actually looks like in practice. First, aggressive digitalization. They are pouring heavy investments into technology, specifically utilizing AI for customer service and highly optimizing their mobile apps so they don't get left in the dust by modern fintech startups. Second, a laser focus on SMEs and small businesses. They want to be the absolute go-to bank for Spanish freelancers, reinforcing subsidized credit lines and really utilizing things like the ICO and European funds. And third, green finance and energy transition. They're betting heavily on funding corporate sustainability projects, self-consumption, and renewable energy infrastructure. So way less traditional real estate and way more code, sustainability, and credit to the local business next door.
The golden lesson. As we wrap up this explainer, whether you're out there starting your own business or just making your first investments, this banking soap opera offers a universally applicable takeaway about true value. The value of a project depends on its capacity to generate solid cash and care for those who trust in it. Sabadell managed to stop an absolute giant because they proved to their owners, both the small and large shareholders, that they were worth far more through real profits and tangible cash dividends than through any of the paper promises offered by BBVA. They cared for those who trusted them by generating solid cash.
So as you navigate these financial waters, do your own research and look for places to actually put your money. Ask yourself this: when evaluating your own investments, will you fall for the big paper promises of a giant, or will you demand businesses that actually reward your trust with solid cash? Think about that the next time you look at your portfolio. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning the true value behind the numbers.